I am a super spy ninja. Do you like getting your passwords hacked? Do you like having your identity stolen? Of course you don't, and that's why you should absolutely get today's sponsor, Surfshark. This video is brought to you by Surfshark. Safety and security online is super important. You can protect yourself online with Surfshark. That's a lot of Surfshark. Get 83% off and 3 months for free through the link in the description below, and let's jump into it. This is another in the series, Fake Facts That Everyone Thinks Is True. Originally it was called Facts That Everyone Thinks Are True, and then people had an absolute hissy fit in the comments. They were like, Simon, facts can't be facts have to be true. They're facts, Simon. Are you dumb? Are you dumb? The fact is, yes. Also, very little care given. Oh, also, I realize I have a brand new shirt. Oh, I've got a better, are you buying things online? Like the merchandise, #cancel Simon. Well, make sure if you're shopping in a public place, which honestly you shouldn't be right now, stay inside. If you're like using unsecure Wi-Fi, maybe around a mate's house, and he's a bit dodgy. Maybe he's got one of those computers which has that green text in it because he's hacking your shit. Use a VPN. Use a VPN to buy the merch. Purchasethemerch.co, and that VPN must be Surfshark. You're welcome for the double plug. By the way, Surfshark, my pleasure. Just pay me double. Okay, it's alarming to think that what happens here is Danny writes a script, I read the script, Sam, the wonderful video editor, adds some memes. Let's do it. It's alarming to think that approximately 73% of what you read or hear on the internet is questionable to some degree, while around 55% of it is downright wrong. The other 45% is my content, which is 100% always correct. Don't doubt. It's also intriguing to consider that approximately 91% of all statistics are made up on the spot to fit a narrative. I was thinking I'd love to start, because I think conspiracy theories are 99% of them are dumb, because 99% of them are like the 5G COVID dumbass shit. I'd love to start and use all of my channels and all of my influencer, and I'm very much like this, power to start a fake conspiracy theory and just see how far it goes. When faced with the surprising, harsh truth that makes us question everything we think we know, many of us choose to bury our heads in the sand like an ostrich. That they don't actually do that. Ostriches don't bury their head in the sand, so that's 55%. I'm bad at this. I'm bad at my job. I have one job, present facts, and I'm shit at it. Except it turns out that ostriches don't bury their heads in the sand at all. All right. I should read these ahead. I should. I really should. And more importantly, the ostrich is one of the fastest animals on two legs. If it ever sniffed trouble, it would be far more practical to just leg it. Can't outrun a bullet though, can it, Danny? I want to go ostrich hunting. The myth may derive from the fact that ostriches dig big holes to bury their eggs in the ground that will occasionally dip its head below the ground to check that everything's okay and that the eggs haven't started fighting among themselves. All right then. But in the face of imminent danger, it is far more likely to scarper than to try and suffocate itself in the bowels of the earth. So that's one myth rapidly debunked. Here are 5 more. How exciting! This has absolutely nothing to do with business. Welcome to Business Place. #cancel Simon. Purchasethemerch.co. Lemmings are suicidal morons. Oh my god. Let's play the game again. You can play along at home. How many of these do you know are fake before we start? I know this one's fake. Again, at the risk of Danny repeating everything that I'm about to say in about 2 minutes, I think there was a Disney movie where they filmed these lemmings and they made it look as if they were running off a cliff to their death, and then they weren't actually, and this isn't the behavior of lemmings. So that's what's up. Next one. No, we have to read Danny's words because I paid him to write them. Stop crying, Danny! Getting paid in stickers counts! We kick things off with a myth wrapped within a myth. Like a lot of people in my rough age group, I didn't really know much about lemmings until the arrival of the legendary computer game in the early 90s, which made an appearance on the Amiga, SNES, and many other formats. I remember this. With the lemmings, and you had to try and save as many as possible. The idea behind the game is to try and stop as many of the idiot lemmings from plummeting to their death as you possibly can, based on the concept that if lemmings are left to their own devices, they will simply commit mass suicide by jumping off big cliffs. Walt Disney gets a lot of the blame for perpetuating this myth. F***ing Disney, am I right? What a knob. The 1959 Oscar-winning nature documentary, White Wilderness, depicts lemmings clumsily stumbling to their doom and giving themselves to the sea, and it's often claims that Disney invented the idea of lemmings being gormless suicidal morons intent on their own destruction.
Seemingly indestructible lemmings.
But that's not the whole truth either. My facts were wrong. Oh, Danny, why?
Misconceptions about lemmings have been around for centuries, but a rather miserable 1920 poem titled The Lemmings by John Masefield certainly helps to ignite speculation about the suicidal tendencies of these furry rodents, and Disney appeared to draw inspiration from this when filming their documentary. The filmmakers were keen to show the mass lemming suicide in action, and the final film does indeed appear to show large groups of lemmings jumping off a cliff to a watery grave in the Arctic Sea. But in fact, it was all down to camera trickery and more than a hint of genuine animal cruelty. The scenes were actually filmed at the Bow River near downtown Calgary rather than in the Arctic Sea. That's a little bit different, isn't it? And the filmmakers were disappointed to find out that the perfectly happy lemmings didn't seem the slightest bit of interest in making a kamikaze jump, so they gave them a helping hand. Oh god, I thought it was just camera trickery. But they murdered all of the lemmings. Oh, the past was the worst. It's like animal cruelty. Animal what? Taking a small group of a dozen lemmings and using tight editing to make it appear as if the group was a bit larger, the filmmakers placed the poor creatures onto turntables to make them dizzy and confused, and then pushed them towards the edge of the cliff. Oh god, nice. And this film won an Academy Award. What for? It sounds shit. I hope that any future screenings are prefaced with a warning which admits at least a dozen animals were hurt during the making of this film, the bit where we shoved them right off a f***ing cliff. It is like, yeah, I mean, in all movies nowadays, it's like, this movie was made under the auspices of the RSPCA, and you're like, alright, I mean, I'd be a bit surprised if you were torturing the animals or something like that. It's 2020. Future screenings are perhaps unlikely though. Although White Wilderness was very briefly made available on the new Disney Plus channel, it was almost immediately pulled and has now very probably gone the way of Song of the South. Oh, I've heard of Song of the... Isn't that one that was like really quite racist? It's like, Disney, come on. Really? Walt Disney himself is said to have been unaware of these dodgy filmmaking techniques. Oh, sure you are, Disney. We all know you're a monster. Of course, the truth is that some lemmings do fall off cliffs, but then again, so do some humans. Lemmings are unlikely to get very far on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, but they're not inherently dumb. They're not going to get very... They don't even speak, Danny. They just get a bit carried away during periods of migration. When the population density becomes too big to handle, large groups of them will pack their bags and go off in search of a quieter spot, but many of them will face accidental death from venturing into completely fresh territory and making the wrong call or getting pushed off ledges by their overexcited buddies. Yeah, of course. I mean, humans do this well. Like, we migrate to new places, like in history, we migrate to new places, and many of us die. The majority of the migrators should be absolutely fine, so long as they can avoid the Disney film cruise. Ba-da-bum-bum! Carrots help you see in the dark. I know this one's fake. I think there's some like vitamin in them or something that is good for vision, but it's like, yeah, you get enough of it anyway, it's just gonna make your vision not shit. Like if you don't have it, maybe you go blind or something. I think I know this one. I'm gonna give myself a point only if I get it right. I give myself a point for the last one because Disney did fake it. I don't know what Danny was talking about. Like, they did fake it. Whatever. Carrots help you see in the dark. The most extreme version of this myth is that the humble carrot can enhance your night vision, while there are other more modest claims that carrots can generally improve your eyesight. I don't think they improve your eyesight, they just make your eyesight non-shit. That's what I'm gonna say. One of my old teachers, Mr. Bottomley, oh no, if your teacher and your name is Mr. Bottom, you're gonna have some fun made out of you. Was always a big advocate of this. Whenever a kid questioned his dubious claims, he'd always fire back that, well, you never see Bugs Bunny wearing glasses, do you? Flawless logic, Mr. Butt. Flawless logic. When I was at primary school, there was a kid, and his name was William Butt. And I'm like, dude, like to his parents, your surname is Butt, and you call your child Willie. Really? I once tried pointing out that Bugs Bunny did indeed wear glasses in the 1948 short film Hair Splitter, and he gave me a detention for trying to be clever. Is Danny making a joke there? Because Hair Splitter, like that's pretty clever. The truth is that carrots are The truth is that carrots are a source of vitamin A, which is good for maintaining eyesight. Simon, you're a genius. Oh, full point. And it's certainly not a super vegetable, packed with incredible night vision properties. However, there's an interesting story behind the roots of the myth, which is all about the British trying to get one over on the Germans during the Second World War. Back in 1940, the Luftwaffe would often strike Britain under the blanket of darkness to give them a better chance of avoiding early detection. Britain responded by turning even more lights off with citywide blackouts, so the Luftwaffe would struggle to see what they were meant to be bombing to bits when they got there. What has this got to do with carrots? But the cunning British had also secretly been working on a new type of onboard radar technology called Airborne Interceptor Radar, or AI for short. Oh, AI means something else now. This could help the RAF pinpoint enemy fighters and take them out before they got anywhere near the British Channel. What has this got to do with carrots, Danny? In 1940, an RAF night fighter ace called John Cunningham would earn the nickname Cat's Eyes by becoming the first pilot to shoot down an enemy plane using AI technology. Means something else today. Anyway,
anyone else see that movie Stealth about the AI plane? That was shit. This was the first movie, I think, I can't remember where I was. I might have been, maybe it was Atlanta. It was somewhere in the US, and I went to the movies. And it was the first time I'd ever been to the cinema in the US. And it was an experience. Someone gets up, I think I've told this story before, someone gets up at the end of that movie and just shouts, "That man is a true American hero." And I'm like, what's going on? Why are you shouting at the screen? And people are rowdy in the cinema in the US. It's weird. In the UK, it'd be like if someone's whispering to each other, someone will tell them to shut the f up. And recording a further 19 kills under the veil of shadow. The Ministry of Information was keen to keep knowledge of AI from the Germans, so they came up with a fictional reason why the RAF started to have got dead good shooting down enemy planes at night. The pilots ate a lot of yummy carrots. Oh, this is the best you could come up with, MOD? Really? It's not clear the Germans fell for it. Probably not. I mean, they were the enemies. They're not dumb. Although there are some stories of the Germans suddenly decided to feed carrots to their own pilots, there's no concrete evidence that this ever really happened. Yeah, well, why not go a step further, MOD, if you think you're so smart? Be like, yeah, it turns out feeding massive doses of cyanide to the pilots helps them see well in the night. Why don't you try that, Germany? But weirdly, it was the British public who seemed more likely to swallow the tail. Faced with the new difficult period of food rationing, the UK government's food ministry ran a series of adverts encouraging the public to grow their own carrots and help dig for victory. Dig for victory posters are famous in the UK. They were like a big wartime poster thing. Some of the adverts boldly claimed that carrots can help you see better in the blackout, while the fabulous cartoon character Dr. Carrot enticed kids into eating carrots on sticks as a delicious alternative to the ice lolly. Brilliant. Carrots on sticks, and we think 2020 is bad. That is one thing. It's like, I was thinking the other day, we've been in this period of extremely long peace. Like, there has been peace, global peace, no wars between the world's major powers for a very, very long time. And we're like, oh, this virus comes and we'll have to stay inside. You know what? I'm glad that it's not 1940, because I'd have to go to war and it would be f***ing worse. And they clearly put no thought whatsoever into the development of Dr. Carrot because they had him wearing glasses. Oh, come on, guys. MOD, come on. Get it together. You know what absolutely does have it together, though? That would be today's sponsor, Surfshark. Okay, look. You use the internet, you're on the internet right now. And that can be, that's fantastic, especially during like pandemic times. Stay inside, watch lots of YouTube, watch Your Boy with the Blaze, which is another t-shirt available at Perch the Merch, by the way. That's a plug within a plug, or as I like to refer to it, plugception. Sam's probably gonna do something with butt plugs right now, which I'm not sure is appropriate for the middle of the ad read, or in general, but that's Sam.
Hey, I'm a grown-ass man. All right.
Well, the internet is a strange place. There are people out there who want to ruin your day. What? They want to take your details? No! They want to steal your identity. Why? Surfshark has something called HackLock. This searches databases for your passwords, which doesn't sound like a good thing, but it is, because Surfshark are the good guys. Boom! Your password gets leaked. Did you get pawned? Oh, shit! Well, change your passwords elsewhere just to make sure that they don't break into your other accounts and stuff like that. Also, it's not just about safety. Let's say that you are Icelandic and you're like watching Icelandic Netflix, which I assume is a thing, and you're enjoying all of these Icelandic shows and you're like, oh, but I'd really like to watch a show that's only available in America. And you're like, oh, stupid regional restrictions. Well, just flip on Surfshark, tell Netflix, shh, that you're in Miami, and then you can like see other stuff that's geo-restricted, which is obviously great because geo-restriction sucks. Look, I'm a British man, I live in the Czech Republic. Let's just say that I find this quite useful. Also, Surfshark's totally unlimited, so you can watch whatever you want. I mean, also, like you got a big cinema at home, you're super rich and baller, you want to download something in 8K, boom. Do it. No worries with Surfshark, it's unlimited. Also, get 83% off and 3 months for free through the link in the description or below, or use the channel code BLAZE. Surfshark.com/Blaze, channel code BLAZE. Let's get back to it. Ninjas wore cool black costumes. No, they didn't. That's just made up, obviously. Giving myself another point. This one is possibly one of the silliest myths of all when you think about it.
Considering that back in the day of feudal Japan, ninjas were meant to be agents of surprise and deception and espionage, they were hardly likely to dress up in a funky costume which gave the game away right from the start. I'd be like, because ninjas were spies. I think samurais were more warriors, ninjas were spies. They practiced, I think it's ninjutsu, awesome name, but which was basically spying. And can you imagine if you come across a modern day spy and he's just dressed up in some crazy outfit, like that everyone associates with being a spy? I'd be like, well, that guy's a spy, isn't he? I'm not going to tell him any state secrets. The myth derives from shows put on by classic Japanese dance dramas known as kabuki theaters, which have been going since 1603. Wow. When faced with putting together a costume for a ninja character, they naturally had a bit of a problem, as ninjas were actually the masters of disguise, so they didn't have an instantly recognizable uniform look. What, so you give them one? Realistic. The theaters got around this problem by shrouding the characters in black costumes and masks which revealed only the eyes to create a sense of mystery and enigma. Yeah, I mean, you gotta suspend your disbelief, right? It is the theater. And it was this new look that seemed to catch on for the rest of the world. Okay, theater's an interesting one. Like, I just want to comment on theater real quick. It's not really relevant. It's just like my thoughts on theater. At school, I was into acting, theater, all of that stuff through university. I love it. Being on the stage, acting in front of people is awesome. Going to the theater, I don't really enjoy. Like, I love being in it, but I don't enjoy watching it. Because I'm like, wait, didn't movies fix this? Like with theater, yeah, you go in and you watch a story and it's acting and the chairs are more comfortable, there's more people, you can't go out to use the toilet unless there's a break and all of this stuff, the sets are less elaborate and all of this stuff. And I'm like, movies are just awesome theater. Are movies what like theater evolved into? It'd be like going, yeah, no, I just like watching like movies on Super 8 just because I prefer it. Or like, I like watching movies in black and white. I prefer it, it's better. Or it's like, I enjoy that as well. It's like, no, I don't enjoy any of those things. I enjoy movies, movies, modern movies, in the movies, not in black and white. I mean, if it's a black and white movie that is only available in black and white, great. Also, but theater just doesn't seem that great to me. I don't get it. Also, don't even get me started on musicals. And it was this new look. What new look? What are we talking about? Oh yeah, the ninjas dressing up in black with just the eyes visible. This caught on with the rest of the world. Off the stages of theater, the true ninjas blended seamlessly into the background of a crowd. They could potentially dress up as farmers or peasants or priests or street performers or astronauts. You could just say anything, Danny. You could. Depending on the environment they were working on at the time. If a ninja looked like anybody at all, it would just be like the person standing right next to him. Although some people claim that the stereotypical black costume was intended only for night missions so they could blend into the darkness, even this isn't true. Yeah, because at night it's never fully dark, and people have like, I don't know, gas lights or heating or torches or I don't know, what do people have back in the day? Like how they illuminate stuff, or the moon. It's like if I'm just walking around and I see a dude dressed fully in black with just his eyes visible, it's a lot more obvious than if he's just wearing jeans and a t-shirt, isn't it? They would still generally strive to wear ordinary clothing at night to avoid the alarm being raised if they were spotted. The very last thing they would want to do when deep undercover on a covert mission is to wear a uniform that practically screams out, "I am a super spy ninja." Yes, indeed, agreed. Chameleons change color to blend in with their surroundings. This is a controversial one, as some people will swear blind that chameleons change color to avoid detection from predators, while others will swear blind that this is definitely not true on any level. And the truth is, it's a bit of a camouflaged mixture. And I know it's chameleon. That's a How I Met Your Mother reference. Although I still see comments on that video where I was like, oh yeah, Levi's jeans. And people were like, oh, and they didn't watch the end where I'm like, I know it's Levi's. I trolled the shit out of you. And you didn't watch the end. Only legends watched the end, and obviously you're not a legend if you commented that, are you? Anti-legend, in fact. It's hard to figure out if we picked the right name for the disco lizard. Actually, I think disco lizard might have been a better name. The term chameleon implies someone who changes their opinions or behavior based on the situation, and this kind of fits in with the idea of a lizard adapting to the colors of its immediate environment. So if Simon were to let loose a chameleon on his desk, some might believe that it could magically take on the red, blue, and green colors of the Enron logo so that it blends in perfectly with its new scenery. I wish I had an Enron desk. Unfortunately, it's just black and plastic. Sadly, it won't, and any YouTube video which purports to show you this kind of thing in action is a fake. Well, normally, it's the thumbnail, isn't it? It's like, yeah, there's the chameleon, and it's perfectly blended into something, and then you're like, whoa, that actually happens, and you click on the video, and at like minute 8 of 9, it's like, yeah, that's not actually no, chameleons don't do that. And you're like, and I get accused of clickbait? But the thing is, the name still kind of works because chameleons tend to hide in the backgrounds of their natural habitat without the need to color shift. Because even in their natural state, chameleons share the same colors as leaves and bushes and twigs and things. Hiding is pretty much all the defense they have, seeing as they're not poisonous, they don't carry guns, and they're a bit slow on their feet. That's not to say that chameleons don't change color at all. I think they do it they do it for some other reason or something. By stretching and relaxing special cells which contain guanine nanocrystals and pigments, they can affect which wavelengths of light are reflected and which are absorbed. This is largely a matter of mood indication and reaction to temperature, so they'll adopt a lighter color when trying to reflect heat or a darker color when they want others to know that they're feeling a bit pissed off. The males might also put on a bit of a light show during courting rituals, but it's unlikely to have anything to do with purposefully trying to blend in with a fireworks display going off in the background. There's a lot of this episode. However, before we dismiss the idea completely, an evolutionary biologist at the University of Melbourne called Devi Stewart Fox has been studying chameleons for 10 years. It took him that long to find them in his laboratory as they were disguised as Bunsen burners. Did he really say that? He gets the for that one. But he reckons that chameleons do change color of skin to match their environment, only to a very limited scale and using a tiny color palette. So the truth seems to be that chameleons are technically capable of changing color to fit in with their environments, but with barely noticeable results, as it's certainly not a primary reason why they do it. They should probably have a go at just sticking their heads in the sand. Oh my god, again. This is going for a record here, Danny.
Next up, Mother Teresa was the salt of the earth. It's about time we got around to giving Mother Teresa a good kicking. Yeah, Danny. I mean, we've been doing this a year? And we haven't yet shit on Mother Teresa? Come on! The former saint of the gutters has since been elevated to real sainthood and honored in the Catholic Church as Saint Teresa of Calcutta. The Albanian Indian missionary has become the nun poster girl for her benevolence and kindness and compassion and self-sacrifice and general all-round loveliness in helping the poor and the sick. She's won a Nobel Peace Prize and has been celebrated and honored by the likes of Indira Gandhi, Ronald Reagan, Bill Clinton, Princess Diana, and the Dalai Lama. But when it's all said and done, was she actually a bit of a dick? #cancel Simon. The English-American intellectual and author Christopher Hitchens once famously described Mother Teresa as a lying, thieving Albanian dwarf, which sounds a bit harsh. Did he really? But is this a slightly more accurate description of someone who, along with David Hasselhoff, is one of the most beloved and celebrated humans that ever walked the earth? Look, there's Mother Teresa, and then there's David Hasselhoff, right? Not really. That bloody dwarf. To kick off with the minor points first. She obviously had alarming opinions on contraception and abortion and homosexuality, but you'd kind of expect that from the Catholic Church anyway, so that's no big surprise. Maybe she was also into children. Yeah, you can. Smash that dislike button. Former members of the Missionaries of Charity have revealed that nuns were instructed by Mother Teresa to secretly baptize the dying without their knowledge or consent. Oh no! If Mother Teresa was secretly baptizing me, I'll be like, just off. What difference does it make? No difference whatsoever. I mean, I find it stop wasting my time, get out of my room. The nuns would pretend that they were simply cooling terminally ill patients' bed with a wet cloth, when in fact, they would also be discreetly uttering the required words for baptism and to ensure that their patients were given a one-way ticket to heaven. Oh my god, thank goodness for this. What a difference that made. I'm not sure I'd really give a toss if some nun wanted to perform a harmless voodoo on me. Danny and I. Mwah! But you can see how a terminally ill patient of a different religion might have felt violated by this act. Mother Teresa also moved in some quite dodgy circles. She accepted big donations from the fraudsters Robert Maxwell, Charles Keating, and right-wing Haitian dictator Jean-Claude Duvalier, who was later charged with the torture and murder of thousands of his own people. Yeah. Although, I mean, if this Jean-Claude dude was like, dude, bro, I love business, he's probably dead, right? Whatever. He's like, I love business place so much, here's $1 million Haitian dollars, which is probably 50p. But if it was a lot of money, I'd be like, thanks. But the most controversial point about the life and work, oh, by the way, some absolute legend. You might think this is an ordinary party cup, but no. Someone was like, Simon, you should be able to drink coffee out of one of those solo cups, and they're made of plastic, so you won't be able to. So I've sent you a ceramic party cup, which there's actually a plastic one here. That's pretty legit. Thank you. Also, I saw on the packaging that it cost you $60 to send this to me. So thank you.
But the most controversial point about the life and work of Mother Teresa is that despite receiving millions and millions of dollars in donations, the exact figure is unknown, very little of it seemed to get spent on actually genuinely trying to heal the sick. In fact, the German magazine Stern estimates that only 7% of donations were used for charitable purposes. Dude, that's not good. The so-called medical centers didn't appear to have much medicine in the cupboards. Any offers of potentially life-saving medical equipment and machinery was turned down, as untrained volunteers worked in appalling unhygienic conditions with drastic shortages of food and painkillers. Why didn't they accept the donations? It appears that Mother Teresa was far more interested in converting patients to religion so that they could die at peace with God, rather than anything practical which might actually help them to live a bit longer. I know all the religious people are like, yeah, it's equally worthy. Got news for you. It's not. Even more worryingly, she appeared to glorify the sickness and suffering of those in her care. She once said, "There is something beautiful in seeing the poor accept their lot, to suffer it like Christ's passion. The world gains much from their suffering." You're sounding like a bit of a serial killer there, Mother. I don't know what Mother Teresa's first name is. Mother. It's also worth pointing out that if Mother Teresa was ever in need of medical attention herself, she certainly didn't pop into one of her own medical centers. No, she forked out a fortune for the best private care in America. So, where did all those millions of dollars in donations end up? Up her nose. The majority of the dough is likely to have ended up being used to fund missionary work, to convert people to the faith, although little of it seems to have been tracked. Following Mother Teresa's death in 1997, a successor to as the head of Missionaries of Charity, Nimala Joshi, reckons that there was no need for official records of any kind. She said, "God knows, he's our banker." Oh god. I think Enron should have maybe tried that one. Even Mother Teresa's elevation to sainted was a bit dodgy, although of course you can't blame her for that. The canonization process usually takes 181 years, but Pope John Paul II rushed it through in about 18 months and officially recognized Mother Teresa had performed 2 miracles in her lifetime involving the magic healing of 2 patients, which of course is easily disputed with things like medical facts. What the guys. It could also be argued that Mother Teresa never intended to become a beloved figurehead for kindness and caring. It's just something that happened on her zealous mission to convert everyone to her faith. I'm just waiting for the shock revelation that she blew loads of money down at the casino. Casino. The tongue taste map is a lie. I know this one. I didn't know the Mother Teresa one. Sorry, I should have said. I didn't know that one. That's shocking, I have to say. The tongue taste map is a lie. Know this one. Finally, in my continuing quest to convince everyone that putting your kids through school is not just a minor inconvenience for the kids, it's also a massive waste of time, here's a myth which still gets taught in schools today, despite the fact that it's been discredited for the best part of 50 years. You might remember the tongue map or the taste map for your own completely wasted years in education. It's a colorful schematic map which points out how different sections of the tongue are responsible for experiencing different broad tastes. So, the back of the tongue is where you absorb the taste of bitter stuff, the front of the tongue is for sweet and salty, the middle is for savory, and the sides are for sour. It sounds like a sweet idea, but it's absolutely bollocks. Of course it is. Who would think that? It's not like, yeah, look, I'm eating a candy and you put it on this part of your tongue and you just don't taste it. Said no one ever. The theory originally stemmed from research of Harvard psychologist, psychologist? I'd think a physiologist would be a bit more expert on this, but what do I know? Dirk P. Hanig, who in 1901 discovered that some parts of the tongue are able to detect a taste before other parts of the tongue. The difference is so minute that if you never notice it, or care in a million years of scoffing jars of pickled eggs, but the difference is technically there, except it's not. While he was measuring these thresholds for taste perception for his paper, he put together a famous diagram called the taste belt. The infidels next door are making noise again. Part of the problem is that so many people misinterpreted the diagram. Some of the blame does lie with Dirk P. Hanig for coming up with a bit of a rubbish diagram in the first place. The graph lines in the original diagram were meant to plot the relative change in taste sensitivity on each segment of the tongue, rather than comparing which parts of the tongue are responsible for experiencing different tastes. But this doesn't come across very clearly in the final diagram, Sam. And the problem was intensified a few decades later when another Harvard psychologist, god damn it, Edwin G. Boring, your surname is Boring, drew a new and particularly bottom and boring today, drew a new and practically meaningless version of the taste map which added all the different taste sensations. It's been known since at least the 1970s that our taste receptors are actually distributed all over our tongue, and that the so-called taste map is nothing more than a load of cheap mouthwash. And it's not very difficult to taste out for yourself. Just find something salty or sour and place it on different parts of your tongue to experience the undeniable taste of truth. It'd be interesting if the kids tried this out for themselves in class to make the teacher look like a fool next time he gets taught his facts. I don't remember being taught this at school. Isn't this just something you read on the internet? Or like in books that are wrong? Decades after the misinterpretation of Hennig's paper, some schools are quite unbelievably still teaching the taste map today. It's no wonder that the modern education system is heading for a suicidal leap into oblivion. This has been Business Blaze. I have been your boy with the blaze. I've said many offensive things today, so don't forget to hashtag cancel Simon and pick up this shirt at purchasethemerch.co while using Surfshark VPN. There is a link below to them, and thank you for watching. Come on!